couple months ago, I interviewed the biologist Chris Heltzer, and among his many cool projects is 1 square meter. This is a project where he marked off 1 meter of prairie where he lives and works, and he paid attention to it for an entire year. I think the goal of that project is to learn how much is going on even in the smallest little area if you pay attention. Chris had a few other ideas. He had the idea to do a 1 square meter project somewhere else, but only for a day. He also suggested that he would like to see other people do their own 1 square meters wherever they happen to be. So that's what we're doing today. We're gonna go over this fence just in the backyard here into the easement. It's very overgrown. It's a second growth area, still recovering from a hurricane and then from the construction of this development. And we're going to see what we can find in a 12-hour period from sunrise to sunset.
As the sun rises, you can see me working to put down the bamboo square that'll be our borders for the day. I'll spare you the footage of the long process it took to make this thing last night. The rule is that if I want to include an animal in this film, it has to either be inside the square or have recently passed through it. For a plant, I have to be able to trace the stem back into the square, or I have to be filming on a branch that drapes over it. The first things that came to my attention were the plants, like these false foxgloves, and these goldenrods, which together completely filled the square. One thing I learned in the course of this project that I had no idea about before was that false foxgloves open, drop, and create entirely new flowers every day. You can see these ones beginning to open. I've set this footage to play 700 times faster than real life. Here are a few that have fully opened. This fly is our first animal species of the day. We'll be counting how many we find. And notice the camera. Who's in there? It was a honeybee. This bumblebee is our first native bee. Here it is trying not to fall out of a flower. The foxgloves have these beautiful, delicate freckle patterns that they use to help guide pollinators inside. The cool, dark space beneath the plants has not yet fully been reached by the morning light. This rabbit dung is the first evidence of a vertebrate we've seen, although none are hiding in our little square. At the borders of our world, a fire ant colony resides. These stinging insects are among the most virulent invasives in the world. They're named for their venomous sting, which no doubt has something to do with their success and capacity to cause damage to new ecosystems. But even more important is their incredible adaptability and ability to cooperate. Among their many impressive behaviors, red imported fire ants are able to survive this region's frequent floods by joining together into a giant, buoyant, colony-based raft, each individual helping to keep all the others alive by just hanging on. They are particularly defensive in this vulnerable state, and I can personally attest that you do not want to run into a giant, floating ball of fire ants. Topside, the pollinators are continuing to wake up, like this skipper. This calligrapher fly is taking a little shower. Domestic honeybees are one of the most frequent guests to our little square. Native to Europe, they're one of the only domesticated insects, and vital to agriculture. Unfortunately, they also compete for resources with native bees. This damselfly is our 7th species of the day. 10:06, and I'm just starting to feel hot sunlight. Right there. That's where it's coming from. The pollinators are also making heavy use of the goldenrod. I only just got a shot of this hoverfly, but it made it in. This is a leafcutter bee. Some members of this genus use leaves to construct their nests. This one is just digging into the flowers though. Gulf fritillaries like this one are often confused with monarchs, but instead of migrating across the whole North American continent, their migration only takes them north and south within the state of Florida. In the underbrush, we got what would be the only vertebrate species of the day, a little brown anole lizard. Brown anoles are an invasive species introduced to Florida from Cuba via, probably, landscaping plants. Back in the higher levels, carpenter bees are active. This one is methodically checking the goldenrod flowers, only leaving once satisfied it's gotten all it can from this stem. The relationship between bees and flowers, though, is not always what it seems. The carpenter bee is engaging in nectar robbing, where it cuts through the back of the flower to access nectar without taking the trouble to move through the carefully adapted channels that would otherwise cause it to accumulate and distribute pollen. This gives the bee access to nectar without giving the flower anything in return! A skipper. This one was kind enough to let me get pretty close to it. Didn't get it on camera because the 360 cam is cooling down right now, but a bird just flew right over the square. It went over there at kind of a round right angle through the square I have marked out on the ground here. This little gem is a cuckoo wasp. Cuckoo wasps are named for their habit of laying eggs in other species' nests. This behavioral pattern is called brood parasitism, and many birds do it as well, including, of course, the cuckoo. It looks like most of the flowers that weren't open this morning have opened up now, and a lot of them are really ragged looking, and they're actually falling off the plant right now. The bees will land on them and then go tumbling. Another one for the count. Gotcha. Wasps get a bad rap for being aggressive, but many are important pollinators, just like bees, and even the aggressive species are rarely so away from the nests. You can see that today's goldenrod flowers are getting fried. At the same time, tomorrow's are just getting ready to bloom. This salt marsh skipper is doxing me. Now you know I'm really close to a coast. It seems to still be getting something from these flowers. The time is 3:13. I've just gotten the 360 cam set back up and this handheld Nikon as well. Here's the situation. The cameras, all of them, including my cell phone, cut out at about 140 because they all overheated at the same time. So it's about the same temperature it was then. We have some cloud cover that might help us. We're just gonna see what we can do. Might have to take another couple breaks throughout the day. Just to let the cameras cool down, then get back out here and see what we can find. Something that I noticed since last time I was out even is that I think that these buds have started to come in even more than they were. I think these were little green buds. This is on the purple flower plant. I think these were little green buds before, and now they're little red ones, which is pretty interesting how fast these things go. All of the flowers from this morning, or basically all of them, have fallen. All the ones that haven't are pretty wilted, and there's just a few of them still there at all. Crazy. Someone's lashed these two invasive Chinese tallow leaves together. I didn't open it because I didn't want to disturb them. Anything providing a little control for Chinese tallow is a friend to me. Another mystery fly. It seems to be doing some kind of patrol on this leaf. It repeated this many times. A few hardy insects remain active as the afternoon wears on, but rising temperatures and wilting flowers signal to most that the time has come to rest and wait until night sets the stage for tomorrow's bright morning coolness. As for me, a large mammal with no reasonable means of dancing on a leaf or pollinating a flower, this experiment has been an exercise in awareness. I lived in this home for years, but until today, I didn't know of the foxglove's daily cycle, or the cuckoo wasps that glow like little metal gems, or the carpenter bee's nectar raids. I'm also left with an incredible sense of FOMO. There are, I looked this up, 510 trillion, 227 billion, 657 million, 736,192 square meters on Earth. And all this is just happening in a single day, on a single one of them. Try to imagine how many other things are going on in that unfathomable number of arenas. It's more than any human can comprehend, let alone witness. I learned more in 12 hours of watching than 2 years of hustle and bustle, and that was worth the sunburn.